Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to continue working on this web page mockup. Okay, so where we left off in the last video, we have the HTML content. Now we're working on the styling. We've got the fixed header up across the top. We have a fixed secondary nav space over here on the left. You can't appreciate the fixed nature of them because we don't have any other content on the page to scroll, so let's work on it. And what I'd like to take care of next is this main section, which includes a large background image and some centered content. So let's get to work on that. Now the HTML is already set up for it. I've got a section here, classed name, and then I have a div inside of there with the main content with a little bit of text and a call to action hyperlink. All right, so let's go ahead and style. So this is going to be my main content, or actually my main, class equals main. I'll put in section.main just as a reminder. Of course, .main would be sufficient. I'm going to set a height of 100 viewport heights. That's pretty similar to height of 100%. I want this section to fill up the user's screen. I'm going to put a background image in. I've already got these images saved, and in fact I think they're in an images subfolder, so let me go ahead and do that just to make sure it shows up. I like using background size cover. That'll help to fill up the space with the background image, whether width or height, whatever comes first. And I'm going to hold off from there and move on down to the main content. And temporarily, so we can see it, I'm going to put a border on it. And if I refresh this on my page, we'll start to see definitely there's the background image. Now I can't see my main content even though I've set a width. I should have some kind of I'll put a min height just once again short term so we can visualize it. And so we can see where that main content is floating up there in the top left corner, and that's naturally where it should be, but I want this main content to be centered, roughly horizontally and vertically centered, so really in the user's viewpoint. Now to do that, I'm going to add a couple of properties to my main section. That's the one with the large background image, and I'm going to go ahead and put in display flex, basically making this main container a Flexbox container. And then I'm going to do a justify content center. I'm also going to align items center. So justify content center is going to give me some horizontal centering. Align item centering is going to give me some vertical centering. If I save that and browser refresh, I can see that that is it's nicely where I might want it to be. Now, if on the original, if this content is a little bit south or lower than center, then of course we could do a few other items. We could do a position relative on here to knock it down. So this main section, actually I take that back, it would be the main content. Position relative, and then from the top, let's just try this, I'll do 100 pixels. So if I go back to my sample, kind of see where the red main content is right now, and when I refresh, it's now just a little bit lower. So that's one way to go there. You could also use a translate Y property to move it down. But that works pretty well. Since we've done position before, it's nice to do position again with a slightly different usage. Now I'm going to go ahead and deal with the content elements. So there's a main content headline 2. And a main content anchor. I think I'm going to go ahead and pause my recorder while I type these up though, because they're really just for aesthetics. There we go. So for the headline 2, I just changed its color, its font family, made it a little bit bigger using 2.5 ems, and gave it a little bit of text shadow so it's easier to see on this pretty dark background image. For the anchor tag, I made it a block element, which then allowed me to easily set its width and its height. Centering the text within the anchor block. Got rid of the underline, background color changes, gave it a little bit of margin, 2 M's top and bottom, auto left and right. That's a good way to center a block element. Change the font, line height, gave it some vertical centering of the text. Notice the line height matches up or corresponds closely with the height of the anchor itself. Adjusted its font size, and a little border left just for visual effect. Looks like I have 2 closing curly braces there. Let me go ahead and save that, browser refresh, and now we have some content right in the middle. Since that red border was just there temporarily, I can head up to my main content. I no longer need the min height. That was just there so we could visualize it when it was empty. If that's a little lower than I like, I can move this up. And then I can also get rid of that red border. Fantastic. So I'm going to start to consider this stage of it complete. That takes care of the main section. And what I want to finish off with next is the scrolling nature, these other block elements, and the fixed background positions for the other content on the page. I think I'll tackle that in the next video.